Hey guys, how you going? I hope you're all doing really well and welcome to day 3 of the 30-day health kickstart series. So today we're going to be talking all about energy balance. So managing weight is all about manipulating the energy balance equation, and it's actually a very simple concept which we're going to cover so you have a good understanding of how it works and how you can change it to reach your goals in the future. As I always say, it's really important to understand the key principles so that it takes kind of a weight off your shoulders and you can believe that what you're doing is working and trust the process and then stay consistent, which is the most important thing when we're talking about health and fitness. So let's start with what is energy? What are we talking about when I keep referring to energy in versus energy out? Well, in regards to our nutrition and our health, we're going to be talking about calories, and calories simply are a unit of energy. I think often it's quite scary, the word calorie, because it's thrown about so much: calorie deficit, calorie surplus, how many calories are in certain food. But all we're talking about when we refer to a calorie is a unit of energy. In fact, I will put the definition down here, it's quite a long one. You might hear me refer to calories and energy interchangeably throughout this video, but essentially I'm going to be meaning the same thing. Okay, so energy in versus energy out. So we get energy coming into our body through what we eat and what we drink. On the flip side, we expend or use energy through just being and living, because obviously it requires energy to do the basic functions like breathing and moving around, and also through exercise. So when we tip the balance of this energy equation of calories in or energy in versus energy out, we're going to get different results. So if you have more calories coming in per day than your body is using, that means you're going to be in a calorie surplus. You're going to have extra energy, and your body is going to over time store that in your body as fat. So that's what we would consider weight gain. If you have the same calories coming in that's going out, you're going to stay in maintenance. Nothing's going to really change if you're consistent with that. And then if you have less calories coming in than your body is actually using, you're going to be in a calorie deficit. And over time, that will lead to weight loss, because your body will need to find the energy that it needs from additional sources, and it will take it eventually from your fat storage. And I say things like consistently and over time because it takes more than 1 or 2 occasions or a couple of days to see these differences. Our bodies don't react that quickly, and as you will know in this series, we're focusing on long-term health management and how to have a healthy and happy lifestyle rather than looking for really quick fixes. So we're thinking long-term mindset, and these things do take a little while. Okay, so now we know the principles of the energy balance equation. Let's have a look at what contributes to energy in versus energy out. And this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. So energy in is obviously through what we consume. So that is food and drink. Now certain foods and certain drinks are more calorie dense, therefore have more calories in than others, but that is not necessarily a bad thing. Now, I don't want you to stress about this concept right now. We're going to discuss this in future videos. What I want you to focus on is the fact that if you are in a calorie deficit, so you have less calories coming in than your body is using, you will lose weight over time if you're consistent. And if you have more calories coming in versus going out, you will gain weight over time if you're consistent. You could technically eat a Big Mac or a chocolate bar every single day. If you're in a calorie deficit, you will lose weight. All right, so we know that calories come in through what we eat and what we drink, but how about how we use and expend calories? Well, this is something that we would call our TDEE, or our total daily energy expenditure. Now, if you've watched me for a little while, you'll know that I've made several videos on this, and I will link them down below if you want to go and check them out. The total daily energy expenditure is the amount of calories per day that your body burns, and it's made up of 4 different components. The first one is called your basal metabolic rate. So I'm going to explain all these terms because they sound really fancy, but they're very simple. So your basal metabolic rate, or your BMR, is essentially how many calories your body needs just to live. If you were just to wake up and lie in bed every day, just for it to go through its normal functions like digestion and breathing, all these things require energy. Now, it's not very easy for us to quickly change our BMR, and that's because it's related to our age, our weight, our height, and our body composition. So over time, yes, you can make changes to this. For example, if you have more muscle mass, you will have a slightly higher BMR than if you had more body fat. However, again, this is something that we have to focus on long term and something that you could use as a technique in the future to manage your calories. Okay, so second we have the thermic effect of feeding, or TEF. And this is basically how many calories our body burns to digest our food, to use it, to break it down, and do everything it needs to do with it throughout the body. Again, it's not that easy to manipulate this number. There is certain things that you can do, such as increasing your protein intake, but I don't want you to get too hung up on that right now. So we've covered basal metabolic rate, and we've covered the thermic effect of feeding. Now we're going to move on to the two things that are much easier for us to change, and that is eat and neat. I know they sound really similar. The first one we're going to talk about is exercise activity thermogenesis. This is exercise. So what we typically think of as going to the gym and doing a gym session, going out for a run, doing yoga, any planned exercise that we've chosen to do. Now, naturally, people tend to think that exercise is the most important factor for weight loss, and I totally understand why they believe that, but hopefully by the end of this video, you'll understand how it fits into this equation and how really it's only one very small piece of the puzzle. All right, the last one is, and you'll know that this is my favorite one. In fact, I made an Instagram post about this not too long ago, but NEAT, N-E-A-T, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So what we're talking about here is all the activity that we do that's unplanned and unstructured. Things like me standing here, moving my arms, that's burning calories. Choosing to cook my dinner instead of ordering a takeaway because I have to stand and actually do it and chop the food, all that sort of stuff. Walking to the supermarket if I park further away. All these things contribute to your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And believe it or not, NEAT contributes more to your TDEE than your exercise does. So NEAT is a very, very forgotten about but important factor in energy balance. And I always suggest to people, if they're exercising and eating in a calorie deficit but not seeing what they want to see in terms of progress, and just increasing their NEAT. And it's very simple to do so. Choose to stand instead of sit for half an hour. When you're on the phone, walk around instead. There's tons of things you can do, and they're very, very small subconscious things that you can add into your day, so you don't even notice them. So how good is that? So collectively, these 4 ways that our body burns energy is called our total daily energy expenditure. And of those 4, the 2 that are most easily manipulated in terms of scaling up how many calories we're burning or down is NEAT and EAT. So non-exercise activity thermogenesis and exercise activity thermogenesis. Okay, so now we have a good understanding of the energy balance equation, and we also understand how we're getting calories in and how we're getting calories out. Let's talk about how we can adjust these principles and what we can be doing to make sure that we're reaching the goals that we have. If your goal is to lose fat, then you need to be in a calorie deficit. So we've already discussed that you need to be having less calories coming in than are going out. Now, the easiest and best way to do this is to consume less calories. Have less calories physically coming in than you're burning. So you're going to be eating less. Now, how much is that number is going to be different for everybody, and there is no cookie cutter approach to this. But the way that we would usually calculate it is by looking at your total daily energy expenditure and then calculating it from there. For the layman to calculate their TDEE is not a perfect science. However, there is plenty of online calculators which are completely free, and you just go in, input your sex, your height, your weight, your age, and also your activity level, which I would always suggest just put as sedentary, and it will give you a ballpark figure of what your total daily energy expenditure is. You'll notice that some calculators will give you different numbers. They're always going to be within a couple of hundred calories of each other. But like I say, it's kind of just a ballpark number. So maybe try a few, take an average, and start working off that number. So once you have your TDEE, let's say, for example, again, it's 2,000 calories per day, you're going to then calculate your calorie deficit from that number. Again, there is no right or wrong. So if you go too low with your calories and put your deficit too large, then it's very unsustainable. You're going to be hungry all the time. You're not going to have enough energy to do your exercise, and it's just going to be pretty miserable. So we usually suggest around 200 to 300 calorie deficit, or 10 to 15%. Now this leads to a nice, healthy, sustainable weight loss over time. And again, don't forget, we're thinking long term here. If, on the other hand, you're looking to gain weight, then it's going to be exactly the same thing, but you're just going to flip it around. Take your TDEE and add around 10 to 15%, and that should be where you're aiming to eat. Again, in this series, we are going to go in a bit more detail about how to eat in a calorie deficit and all about nutrition. However, I have made several videos on this, so I will either put them up here or I'll tag them down below, and you can go and check them out about how to eat in a deficit and how to calculate your calories. Okay guys, I hope that's cleared it up for you and has given you a good idea and understanding of the very basic principles of energy balance and nutrition. Obviously, we will go into more detail in the future, but until then, I just want you to know that calories and food is nothing to be scared of. There is no inherently good versus bad foods. There is no such thing as a cheat meal. It's just energy. Take away that fear, and if you find yourself falling into it, remember that you have an understanding of the principles and therefore you can trust what's going on and enjoy your lifestyle. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much, and I have a little announcement for you. So throughout this 30-day Kickstart, I will be running a little competition. So every week I will be giving away 3 copies of my ebook, and to win, all the details will be down below for what you have to do. To be in a chance of winning, you need to head over to Instagram and find this post on my feed and tag 2 of your friends. And additionally, you just need to screenshot this video and put it on your Instagram stories and make sure you tag me, otherwise I won't see it. Then on Sunday, I'll be announcing the 3 winners. Obviously, there will be a video every single day this month, so every day is a new chance to enter, and I will be giving you a new post to go and find as well in the video. So keep your eyes peeled for that, as that adds to another entry for the week. And not only that, but every entry that goes through this month will go into the chance for the #1 prize, which is to win 2 months of free coaching with me. So make sure that you go and tag your friends on the post, watch the videos till the end, and also screenshot and put them into your Instagram stories. And I look forward to announcing the winners. All right, guys, I hope you have an amazing day, and I will speak to you very soon.